The new bridge will stretch across the River Foyle here at the northern outskirts of the city, at the narrows of the river just beyond Ross's Bay. It'll stretch from the Donegal side, which is over there on the west bank, to here on the east side, and it'll begin at this pile of rubble. And behind the pile of rubble are the main roads to Coleraine and to Belfast. And thus it's clear that the new bridge will transform communications dramatically in the Derry and northwest area generally. It's a bridge, but it's much more than that. It's a major European project, for the EEC Regional Development Fund will be putting up a good deal of the £14 million that it'll cost. It's also a north-south Irish project, for many local politicians on both sides of the border have been lobbying for it for years. It's also a Derry project, because many Protestants on the west bank over there feel isolated from their co-religionists on the east bank, and there's been a drift, of course, of Protestants from the west to the east banks for years. And some people feel that the new bridge will make them feel less isolated. So the Madam's Bank Bridge will be a major economic and social project, which it is hoped will transform the Derry area in the decade to come.
Yes, today we've got our eye on the weather. If the wind gets up, things are going to be difficult for us. No more than 20 miles an hour.
It's a very delicate and precise engineering operation to finally get the girder into position, isn't it?
Yes, the girder's big, it's 1,000 tons, it's 600 feet long, but when we position it here, we've got to be within an inch or so.
So could the whole thing be a failure if it is that much out?
There's no question of failure, just little problems that take time to resolve.
Well, Mr. William Ross has said that the bridge costs too much money, but then Mr. William Ross's party, if they'd been still in control of this city, there wouldn't have been a bridge, and there wouldn't have been very much else. But since, happily, they lost control of this city, we have built a new town virtually in housing terms here in the Chantal-O'Kern-Hill area, and the bridge is linking that new town to the essential services on the other side of the river. It hasn't cost too much to the public purse. This is virtually a European bridge, because the first European grant towards the cost of this bridge was 6 million. It was then increased to 9 million, and now in the last 2 years Mrs Thatcher, in her case for having more money clawed back to the British Exchequer from Europe, has used the Foyle Bridge as one of the projects. Therefore, it is now virtually a European bridge paid for by European funds.
It certainly is the biggest project I've ever been on, and let's hope it's not the last big job we have in this part of the country anyway.
What's it feel like when it's nearing the end of a very important stage?
Great relief, and a certain amount of pride in having got the job at this stage without too much problem, I think.
Well, turning to the man who was responsible for today's work, just how big a job was this to lift the centre span?
It's been an important job. It's the focal job in the whole contract. And it's spectacular. Certainly we've had much more interest today than any other. But we've been planning for this for 3 years, so that it feels big on the day, but it has gone very well.